Hi guys, Marvin and Kid here coming to you again. Welcome back to movies I like slash recommend in a sense. This is a segment that I do here where I show you movies that I like and I kind of recommend you to take a look at. Uh, Even if you may not like it, may not prefer it. Sometimes it's wise to take a look at certain things before just knocking it off. Um, so the last time on this segment, what was the last movie we talked about? I kind of talked about, oh yeah, one of my favorite pulp fan favorite gang movies, The Warriors. And I appreciate everybody that put their own 2 cents on that movie. Great movie, still lives up to this day. But today, I'm here to talk about another movie. And this movie stars the one, the only Samuel L. Jackson. Um, and it came out in 2002. Actually, 2001. 2 or 1 is one of them. And it has two different names, actually. Here in the States, it's called one, and then everywhere else is called somewhere else. Outside of the United States, it's called the 51st State. But here in the States, it's called Formula 51. Uh, in this movie, guys, um, it stars Samuel L. Jackson. He's the biggest star in here. Um, and in the movie, basically, Mr. Jackson goes by the name of, his character's name is Elroy McElroy. Elmo McElroy. Yeah, there we go. Um, and in this movie, we enter 1971, I believe. That's the year. And we see that pretty much uh, Sam is driving, and his character has gotten his doctorate in chemistry. He graduated, and he's a chemist now. He can work with chemicals and things like that. And unfortunately, it's the 1970s, so we all should know what the 70s was kind of big for. And um, he uh, he gets pulled over. He gets pulled over, and he's trying to razz with the cop. He's trying to razz with the cop. He's trying to tell him, like, this and that. I just graduated. This is happening to me. I feel so good. Things like that. And and then he even bribes the cop a little bit of grass. And believe it or not, the cop actually smokes some, which is like, what the fuck? You're looking at it like, really? And Sam's thinking, his character's thinking, yeah, I'm gonna get off that. Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah. Cop throws it down, gives him a ticket, and says the 70s are dead. And it was like, really? So you fast forward 20 years later, or 30 years later, and now his character Elmo is working for this crime boss played by Meatloaf, who goes by the name of the Lizard. And he's got like this burnt mark all over his face and things like that. He like really suntanned and things like that. And he kind of now is like the Lizard's chemist. And unfortunately, he wants out of it. So he designs, basically, Elmo had designed this supposed wonder drug called PS51 that was pretty much 10 times anything that ecstasy and all those other hallucinant drugs can give your brain and snap. Trust me, I don't do the drugs, so don't ask me. Um, and he has buyers that are willing to pay him $20 million. So he travels to jolly old England, um, Liverpool to be exact, home of the Beatles. Yeah, this movie right here, guys, in a sense, to me personally, shows that despite the accents, Brits and Americans, we ain't so different. We love our sports. We love our history, and we're just all around good people. There's some bad and some good, and in this movie we kind of see that. Um, Basically, Elmo travels to England, and throughout the whole movie he's wearing a kilt. He's never wearing pants. He's wearing a kilt, and he's carrying golf clubs, pretty much. And Robert Carroll is a character, is his sidekick, because it's an action comedy. This is the actor right here I'm talking about. Um, you can kind of see him now on Once Upon a Time, and pretty much he's his name is Felix D'Souza, and he's like he works for the man who is willing to pay Elmo, excuse me, I keep saying Elmo the money for the drug, for the for the formula of the drug. And the lizard, because Elmo actually supposedly thought he blew him up, and the lizard sends out his personal hit woman to go after Elmo. And she's from Liverpool too. She goes by the name of Dawn, and but when she comes back home, she realizes that, we realize that she's from there. She speaks with a very strong Liverpool accent. Different areas of England, their accent are totally different, which is cool. And we get to see that. But she does dead. She doesn't bring back alive, but the lizard's paying her to, bring him back. And also, if she does this for the lizard, her slate is clean. And then it gets really and then the plot even thickens more, because as more people want this drug, more you start to see more of the scumbags coming out. Like, you're seeing crooked cops and I guess you could say skinheads who, yeah, they pretty much were skinheads who want the drug. I mean, they called Sam some very derogatory names, called him Monkey Boy and shit. I'm like, okay. And we get to see that throughout the movie, that there are more people than just the lizard and this party and this party and this party that wants this wonder drug. And it becomes like almost like a race to see who's gonna give more, who's gonna be able to top the offer. You know what I'm saying? It becomes that way. And Elmo, in a sense, gets to, with his band, makes it, if you help me, I'll give you 5% of what I make off this deal. And he's a man of his word, because does he keep his deal? Actually, yeah, he does. He keeps his deal. But a lot of funny stuff in this movie. This was really funny. But I can tell you one thing right off the bat, guys. This is not for kids. The profanity, if there was a profanity meter in the amount of cuss words in almost every dialogue, it would be off the scale. There was not one scene that I can think of off the top of my head where there wasn't somebody maybe go 1, 2, 3, 4, then a cuss word like fuck or shit or some slang terms in England and things like that. You know, it paid. There was a lot of stereotypes, like, you know, a lot of like Felix here. Um, Felix basically you would trash on like Kentucky Fried Chicken and stuff like that, and Elmo here would trash on certain things. Like, for example, um, he was like, that when they first met, when Elmo picked up, when Elmo was picked up from the airport by Felix here, uh, they were like, you know, you fancy a bite to eat? And he's like, yeah, all right, yeah, all right. And he's like, sorry, we ain't got no, you know, no Kentucky Fried Chicken and stuff like that. And it was like, oh, really? But then he gets Elmo here one of you know, fish and chips, or here in the States, you know, fish and French fries, you know, and pretty much Elmo looks at it like, what the fuck did you do to this fish? Batter it to death? And it was like a play on stereotype on how fish and chips is made. It's, you know, if I'm not mistaken, it's very much beer battered and things like that. So, you know, beer battered fish is really, with the batter is really thick and things like that. I got no problem with it, but you get a lot of that in this. But despite all that, and despite kind of the lot of profanity, this movie was really fun. It's not one of Sam's best works, but it sure is funny, because there's almost every scene where I was laughing at something that uh, Sam said, Mr. Jackson says in this movie. Or, you know, I'll say how Mr. Jackson, you know, his eyes play a lot when he's doing his movie. So when he's in character, his eyes are really with that character. And, you know, even as hard as it to leave, you know, Meatloaf playing a big drug lord, you know, you're like, Meatloaf, this is the same guy who's, and I would do it. You know, it's like, really? But when you look at it, it's like, it's really funny. It's like, okay, he's that comedic drug lord, but kind of in a sense, all right, I can understand that. But very fun movie. It showed a lot of in my opinion, a lot of European talent, in my opinion, Welsh and British, and, you know, talent that a lot of us in the States don't really get to see too much. And it was a privilege for me to see that, because I like to see other actors from around the globe and see how they would do in this movie. Now, I forgot to mention who directed the movie and who, you know, things like that. The movie was directed by Ronnie Yu, and it was pretty much, it made, it grossed in the UK, it grossed about 913,239 euros, or yeah, I could just and it opened weekly worldwide, and it made about $14.4 million. And this movie, as always, as I like to do, the budget of this movie was 27 mil, and the box office, it made 14 mil. So it didn't really make back its budget, but it was still fun to watch. And like I said, you know, Mr. Jackson and Mr. Carroll were really good together. It was like the buddy comedy, and they played off each other's characters very well. And everybody else who was involved in the movie had their saying to it. The crooked cop, Kane, was funny as hell, especially because how he used to he would bang on his partner's weight, and his partner used to get really pissed off about it. He's like, you know, you're cracking on me weight, and, you know, you're crossing the line, and, you know, it's just like, at the end of the movie, he kind of got what was coming to him, in a sense. So he got his just due. Now, how does the movie end? I'm not gonna spoil too much for you. Do they explain why throughout this whole movie Elmo was wearing a kilt? Nope. Uh, but does he get paid? I will spoil that for you. Yes, indeed. Um, and it was fun. It was this was a lot of fun. So I do recommend Formula 51 or the 51st State wherever you are. And if you have seen this movie, tell me what you think of it. Give me your thoughts. As always, give me your feedback. And I'll be back with another edition of this movie, another edition of this segment. So stay tuned. And other than that, you guys take care.